that all their engagement will always begin and end with God. And that is being a God-centered leader. That is actually the very reason why we have this leadership summit, for all of us to understand that this church exists because of the mission of this. Gives us the idea about our accountability to our God, to the church, and to the people that we serve.
May it be said of SSD that we did not lead casually, we did not steward carelessly, and we did not serve half-heartedly. May we rise as leaders whose lives and leadership are shaped by Scripture, surrendered to Christ, and are strategically aligned with His mission.
Once again, welcome, and welcome.
Friends and leaders across SSD, what I want to convey to you is do not get distracted by all the administrative trivial items. Stay focused on God's mission for you and your territory. God has brought you to leadership to finish the task He's given. Maybe that means multiplying the churches, training more pastors, raising up new church planters. But whatever it is that your territory needs, your region, please do not get distracted. Pull people together, cast a vision for unity in mission, because God has called us to this task for this time, for His mission.
Allow me to share this acronym goal for us to easily understand. Number one, we must be a God-centered leader. That all our engagements will always begin and end with God. And secondly, we should be obedient to the mission that the church exists because of mission. And the third letter, A, is our accountability in leadership. This gives us an idea that leadership is stewardship. Letter L stands for our loving service to the people, and reminding all of us that the church was organized for service and its mission is to carry the gospel to the world.
Well, SSD is one of my homes. I worked here for some years. And what excites me is the variety of different languages and people groups and nations. It sounds kind of familiar from Revelation 14, 6, and 7, that God is compelling us to go to every tribe, nation, and people. So do not leave any door unopened for God's work in another tribe, in another people group that is right next to you, where we don't have any members. What excites me is that we are on the verge of completing faithfully the task that God has put in us.
One takeaway would be to encourage the leaders that attended the summit to create clear structure early on. When you define responsibilities, establish timelines, communicate clearly, when that happens, leaders are not distracted by the logistics and can really focus on advancing the mission of the church.
We talked about one particular verse in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. It's verse 13. Paul says, basically he asks a question, have you lost your minds for Christ? And then he continues that for Jesus we have lost our minds, but for you we are in sound mind. Basically that means leading with boldness, with vision, with sacrifice. All of that together is sound leadership.
The things that I'm going to take back is the priority of the church, that our leadership from the Jesus mentioned, grounded in the Bible and focused on the mission. And the only way we can achieve that is the integration. All the departments, all the ministries in the church, that you will be united, and as we come into unity, we can encourage every member of the church, grounded in the Bible, focus on the missions that God has trusted to us.
We want that all leaders can realize that this is the God's work. So need all leaders to surrender in God's hand And as you know, this Leadership Summit equip the leaders to face crisis, to know about the technology, how to share the good news, the gospel.
In simple words, when you go back to your fields, grounded in the Bible, focus on the mission. We sung about that, we are repeating that. That's the message that we need to keep in our hearts and we need to share with every local church and every single member of the church. I am very excited with your commitment. You are focused on the mission inside of your territory and you are focused on the mission supporting other territories of the world. This kind of commitment show me that the Lord is doing and will do great things inside of this division.
SSD!